morning, everyone. Thank you so much again for having me this morning, Miss Leanne, Carrie. I appreciate the invitation. I just want to begin by just sharing a little bit about myself. I'm originally from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, but I've been part of the Gulf Coast for about 17 years. My husband was originally stationed at Keesler when we first married, and so he got in a car accident side of the road on the way home for Thanksgiving, actually. I think today might make 18 years ago that we met. On the Sunday evening, he was headed from Keesler, on the way to South Carolina to meet his family for the Thanksgiving holiday. Got into a car accident, asked if I'd give him a ride. I'm not sure why I said yes, but I said yes. 6 months later, we were married, and here at Keesler Air Force Base, I fell in love with Mississippi, have no intentions of going anywhere else until Jesus himself tells me that it's time to move on. But I love the heart of everybody here. So again, thank you so much for welcoming me this morning. Now, just a quick show of hands. Is there anybody in the room who is not familiar with the Women's Resource Center? I see one hand, I see two, three hands, four. Okay, so just a couple. So I'm gonna give you just a real quick story on who we are and what our mission is. But we're located out on Lorraine Road. Our goal at WRC is to help women who are facing an unplanned pregnancy make a positive choice for life. And so we do that in a variety of different ways, but typically the sign on the outside of the building which says free pregnancy test, that alone will draw a lot of women in, and you would be amazed at the people who would come by in the past simply because they saw that sign outside. But when a woman comes in, if she's pregnant or she thinks that she is pregnant, she can get a free pregnancy test. Pass that free pregnancy test, we'll do an ultrasound for her. We'll sit down and go over her options. And in going over her options, at that point, that's when we can really assess where she's at and help to meet her need. And so, of course, you guys know when you're pregnant, you have one of three choices as to what you can do. First, if she chooses to carry and parent the child, for those ladies, we have what we call the Earn While You Learn program. With the Earn While You Learn program, she comes in each week. She learns how to be a parent. She goes through our pregnancy classes, first, second, and third trimester pregnancy. We teach her, how, what to expect throughout the pregnancy, and then once baby's born, she stays in our classes. She can stay in our classes up until the child turns 2 years of age. And so she comes in each week, and we give her free resources. So she goes through our classes. At the end of the class, she goes in our little boutique on site. There are diapers, wipes, clothing, furniture, just a wide variety of different things that she may need, and she can get all of that absolutely free of charge for 2 full years. So that really helps to lessen the financial burden of having to buy all the things that you need for a baby. For any of you parents in here, kids are not cheap at any age. And so we love to be able to have them come in and stay with us for that up to 2 years. That gives us time to form a long-term relationship with her. So again, we can help her make better life choices, not just the positive choice for life for that baby. So that's the first step. Secondly, her next choice would be to adopt out. And so where adoption is concerned, we have adoption agencies that we refer her out to. I myself was adopted, and so I'm a big supporter of adoption. My mother was raped in 1973, just a couple of months after Roe versus Wade. And so with the legalization of abortion in January of 1973, she no longer had to go into a back alley to get an abortion procedure done. However, my grandfather sat down and he spoke with her. He encouraged her to keep me. And so as a result of that, I ended up being adopted out, and then I was raised in a home. I went from home to home to home as a child, just simply because my family members would pass on. My mom died when I was maybe about third grade, and then I lived with my grandmother for a while. A couple of years later, she passed. Moved in with my aunt. A few years later, she passed. And so I have just a wide variety of experience in regard to just kind of having to overcome difficult situations, none of which I feel as if I brought on myself. But, life just happens. Life happens for all of us. Every one of us at some point or another is going to find yourself in a place where you need to make a decision. And so the women that come into the doors of the Women's Resource Center, they're all having to make a decision. We've all been in a place where we've had to have somebody sit down, talk to us, listen to where you're at without a judgment, a safe place, just a warm heart and open arms that would be encouraging to you so that you felt as if that you're heard. Everybody wants to be heard. We all feel as if we all want to feel as if we have some level of significance. And I feel like giving your ear, giving your heart in that moment, especially when you're in a crisis situation of any sort, that gives value to the life of the woman. It also gives life to the value of the baby that she's carrying. And so that's something that we definitely pride ourselves on at WRC. So if she chooses adoption, again, adoption agencies, we refer out to her, and then she can proceed with them, and then they will help her. Some of them help up to 2 to 3 years post the adoption, so that if she's having any difficulty at all in regard to having had made that choice, there's still a level of grief that comes with adoption, even though adoption is to me, it's one of the most courageous acts of love that a person can do. It's the same as God giving Jesus to us. He had to let go of him because of his love for us. And so I feel like for an adoptive mom, she's doing that same thing. She's letting go of that baby because of the love of the baby, and recognizing that she can't necessarily provide the same level of hope and help for that baby, but she provides it in the self-sacrifice of saying, hey, I'll give you life, but I'll give you life through another parent, another mom, another dad that can probably provide far more than what I'm in the situation I'm able to do, which is the same as what I feel like my mom did for me. Not too long after I started at the Women's Resource Center, I remember one night I had put my boys to bed. I was just sitting, I'm not sure what I was, just sitting on the bed, and I felt as if the Holy Spirit just kind of pricked my heart in regard to my birth mom. And he said to me, you were conceived in darkness, but you were carried in love. And so again, I think where adoption is concerned, no matter what the circumstances, it's just, it's a huge act of love and courage to be able to give your child up and know that you may or may not ever have a relationship with them. You may or may not be able to see them. Of course, the adoption laws now, depending upon what state you're in, you have some options, more options than what it was when I was a child. However, but it's still just a really, really big act. It takes a lot of bravery and courage to do that. So then, there's the third choice when it comes to being pregnant, which is abortion. And so the abortion, that is the abortion-minded woman, that's our number one person that we're looking to reach. Again, we really care about the life of the baby, but past the life of the baby, we care about the life of the woman. For her, she needs, again, to have a safe place, a listening ear, someone that will not judge her or condemn her for the circumstances in which the child was conceived, but give her an opportunity to be able to move forward. And so for those who are considering abortion, we'll do a free ultrasound for her. When she does the ultrasound, she's given an opportunity to actually see that it's a life and that it's not just a blob of tissue. You would be shocked at the women that come through the door that think that it's just a blob of tissue. They don't realize that a heartbeat begins 21 days after conception. I remember doing an ultrasound maybe about 3 years ago, I would say, 2.5, 3 years ago. This young lady, she was on her 4th pregnancy. I think she might have been maybe 9 to 12 weeks along in her pregnancy. She had an abortion maybe about 2 years prior, but she did not. And she was 26 weeks, 24, 26 weeks along in the pregnancy when she had that abortion. And so now she finds that, she's pregnant again, and she's considering abortion because, again, her life circumstances are not much better than what they were a few years ago with the previous pregnancy. So I talk with her. We go in to do the ultrasound, and I put the wand down her stomach. You can just see this little person kind of turning cartwheels. I mean, whoever, boy or girl, it's too early for us to tell. It was a very excited little one. And so I turned, I looked at her, and her eyes teared up immediately. And I put my hand on her hand. I said, and asked if I could get some tissue. Is there anything I could do extra to bring some comfort to you? And she just started sharing. The thing is, in that moment, she did not realize that the abortion that she'd had previously, when the baby was 24 to 26 weeks along in pregnancy, she just didn't realize how far advanced that baby was. So seeing this one, who's more like about 9 to 12 weeks along, she realized what she'd done before, and it just hurt her heart. And so for her, she was beginning to grieve again the loss of the first baby, and recognizing that she has an opportunity to start again with the life of this baby. So again, we love the women that come in the doors of the Women's Resource Center, no matter what their choice is. Should she have chosen abortion, we would love her the same. We want to be a place that they're going to return to, regardless of what their previous choices are. And I feel like that's just an excellent way of expressing God's love. All of us have been in a place before, again, where we've had to make a decision. We've all been in a place where we've fallen into a pit of some sort. And I say this every time I have an opportunity to speak. When it comes to finding yourself in a pit, some of us have just walked by. There's a pit there. You don't see it. You just accidentally fall in. There's other times when you're walking, you have people in your life who are not the most encouraging, and they push you in the pit. Then there's some of us, and I say us because I've done this repeatedly. There's some of us that grab the shovel and we just dig the hole ourselves. I can't blame life circumstances. I can't blame people. It's been Tiffany that has, kind of thought out what she was going to do. I've dug that shovel. I dug the pit extremely deep, and then I got inside. The wonderful thing that I believe that Christ does, and he does it himself, and he does it through all of us, he walks by the pit. And so either one, he puts his hand in the pit, or you guys put your hand in the pit with that person, and you pull them out, or you climb into the pit with them, and you push them out. But either way, we've all been in the pit, whether we're trying to get out of the pit, whether we dug it, fell in, or we're in there just trying to help people out. That is the role that I feel like Christ has called all of us to do. We've all been there. We've all made some decision that was not the positive decision. It was not life-changing in a good way. It was more of it steals and robs the purpose and the destiny that God has for us in that season of life. So just recognizing that these women, they're scared, they're fearful, they're confused. They really want what all of us long for. We all long, though we do not always recognize it. We all long for God's love. We all long to be known. We all long to be heard. We all long to be loved, and we all long to be needed. And so, WRC, again, we recognize that. And that's the heart behind all of the volunteers that come into the Resource Center that stops each week or month, however often they're volunteering to help these women. We want to recognize them and love them and make sure that they know that they're loved by our Creator and that they're loved by us and they're not judged. So I want to take a moment out to show a video. We have a couple of ladies, clients of WRC's. A couple of our clients. I have 2 testimonials. The very first one is a young lady who she's going through our process. She's going in the classes. The second young lady, she's also came in for a pregnancy test, and she's a changed mind. She's someone that was considering abortion and changed her mind. The second video is one of the young ladies that you guys are going to celebrate with this afternoon with the baby shower. She has a beautiful story, so I just want you to take a moment and take a look at this for me.
Our mission is to uphold the sanctity of life while encouraging the physical, emotional, educational, and spiritual well-being of the whole person. Through collaborating with organizations that share similar values, we work to promote personal health, strong family units, and thriving communities.
My name is Casey Palmer, and I've been coming here to the Women's Resource Center since I was approximately 7 weeks pregnant. I take the street that it's on a lot, and it says free pregnancy test. So of course, when I found out I was pregnant, I said, well, let me go there and verify and, see what they're about. My situation's a little different. I'm in childcare as a professional, so I've kind of had a little bit of background education already. But there were lots of things that I didn't know, also that I learned in the classes that I've taken with the Women's Resource Center. Coming to the classes and earning mommy bucks and able to get diapers and clothes and blankets and bottles and stuff, especially using the bucks that I've earned through coming to the classes, is great. It's awesome, because that's stuff that you'd have to find other ways or spend money, other money that you can use towards bills or other things that you need. I want to just thank all of the volunteers and people that donate, because you make it easy for women that need assistance, that need help, that need further education, because otherwise they wouldn't get it. I would just like to thank everyone that's affiliated with the Women's Resource Center for all that you do, for putting in this resource for all the women out here, especially me, and just really appreciate all that you guys do on a daily basis. Thank you very much.
Every day, women across the Gulf Coast face unplanned pregnancies. The Women's Resource Center is here to help them make the best decision for their child.
My name's Heather Cook, and in February, we found out that I was pregnant again. The thought of abortion was there. It was such a shock to find out that I was pregnant that initially that's where my mind went. We're gonna have to end this. We can't do this. We don't have the money. We can't. There was just a lot of emotions there. This wasn't planned at all like my first one was. I had moved down here in August of last year, and I'd been going to the health department for birth control and everything. Because of the transfer from DeSoto County back down to Harrison County, somehow my records had gotten misplaced. I didn't think that I would get pregnant, simply because I had been on the pills for so long, but God had other plans for me, so that's just what happened. I was actually looking online. I was trying desperately to find somebody that could do a free pregnancy test just to confirm that I was actually pregnant. And the health department had this long, wait list. And I'm like, I don't have time to wait. I need to know this now. And so I was looking online and I found them. And I'm like, okay, well, hopefully I can get in there and they can help me out. It was more than just the free pregnancy test. They showed me everything that they could offer me, and I've had the resources to get certain things that I wouldn't have otherwise been able to get. I've been able to come and learn and, just show up, and it's wonderful information, things that you would think, I've been pregnant before, I know this, but it's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. I didn't know how I could split my love for my 5-year-old and a new baby. And it was just a really emotional time. That's one of the reasons why I never planned a second one, because I'm like, I love my little boy so much. I mean, how can I choose? But they helped me realize that you don't have to choose. Just want to say thank y'all so much for being there for me, and y'all have been wonderful through everything. And like I said, it was really emotional at the very beginning, but y'all really have been there for me.
There, when she says that y'all have all been there for me, I'm reminded that each Sunday at my home church, my pastor reminds me that whenever he gives the invitation for someone to accept Christ, that he does not get he doesn't get credit for that. It's a team effort, regardless of what role that you played within the church service this morning. Even if someone here today makes that decision, whether you're the gentleman that was making coffee in the back this morning, or the greeters that were up front opening the doors, or the people that put out the chairs for us to sit down comfortably, that it's a team effort and we all get credit, so to speak, for helping that person to make a decision for Christ. And so several of you guys are supporters already of Women's Resource Center. You know, her story, her changed mind, is not a credit to WRC. It's a credit to all of us. It's a credit to the fact that we listened to the Holy Spirit as he poked at our hearts and we responded in love, whether it is to give $1 or to pray when you drive by the building or however it is that the Lord leads you. All of these women who've come through our doors this year or in the past 10 to 12 years that we've been on the coast, that's a credit to every person who's ever partnered with WRC. And so I want to thank you for your continued support in regard to that. I want to share just a little bit about our boutique needs, just about ways for individuals to get involved with our center. I have about 4 minutes. I'm winding down. But just the stats, so you know the traffic flow that we see throughout the year. Up until the end of October, we've had 1,493 client visits this year. Out of those client visits, that's a combination of our pregnancy tests, our Bible studies that we offer. It is the parenting and prenatal classes, or just individuals who are coming in looking for resources that need help in other ways that we may not be able to assist them directly with, but we can at least refer them out into the community with. We've had 378 pregnancy tests. Out of those 378 pregnancy tests, 310 of them have been positive. Out of those 310 that are positive, 52 of them were considering abortion when they walked through the door. So those 52, those are the ladies that we are really trying to target and pull in and encourage and get her past where she's at today. 37 of those 52 people have changed their minds. 37. So let's think. That's 37 possible teachers. There's 37 possible doctors, policemen, firemen, housekeepers. No matter where they end up out into the world later on, they now have the possibility to be potential church members, potential friends, potential family members. You just never know. But those 37 children now have an opportunity to have life that they would not have had the Women's Resource Center not been there. You know, if my grandfather had not been there to listen to my mom and encourage her not to choose abortion, but to choose life for me, I would not be able to stand here today and share my story. I would not have an opportunity to see my 2 boys or my 2 grandkids, or, just so much. I feel like God gives us all a purpose. He has a destiny. He gives us each passion. We all have a different story, but within that story, we all have a unique gift that God uses for his glory. And so though I'm here for the Women's Resource Center to encourage support for us, even past that, I just encourage you guys to look at your neighbors, to listen out, be an open set of arms and an open set of ears so you can see the needs of the individuals that are around you. The smallest thing that you can do, whether it is just opening a door for a stranger, giving them a smile, being there because they have a huge need, or, just acknowledging them and their presence. It lights people up. You have no idea, some of the things that people are going through before they walk through the door. Even you guys that are sitting here, I have no idea what your stories are. I don't know what you had to deal with prior to walking in the door this morning, but the message that I have is that Jesus loves you too, and that you matter to him, and he sees where you've been at. He knows where you're going, and he loves you, and he will take care of all of your worries, regardless if it were a crisis pregnancy or simply, how am I going to take care of my bills? Whatever the need is, God sees you, he loves you, and he's involved, and he will take care of it. Thank you again for having me.